with Simply
Oh,
Dreaming, I have found a color I really like, and I think I want to do another big quilt of Simply Dreaming. And when I did my first ones, I kind of added where I can, but I ran into problems because by the time you get to the end of making the quilt, sometimes you can't find the fabric or the color you were
mhm,
working with. I'd kind of like
right.
to avoid that. And I
Let's
did, do you have any guesstimates on how much is needed?
let me pull up the document that has the different options in it. And so for anybody who is wondering, Kim, I have to say you are probably the Simply Dreaming queen in that you've made more Simply Dreaming quilts than anybody.
I love that
Um,
design, so I can't help it.
so so Simply Dreaming months 1, 2, 3, and 4 were appliquing the center of the quilt. Month
Right.
5 was quilting it.
Yep.
Month 6 was creating the border that covers the join. Months 7, 8, and 9 are applique for what I call the border, but the outside area of the quilt. Months 10 and 11, and I think 12 had quilting it as well, quilted the outside. So in month 9, when the applique was finished, I gave you a document called Simply Dreaming Bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to share my screen right now so we can look at it together. And it's a bunch of different options for change or for making the size of your quilt bigger.
Mhm.
So, do you have a particular option in mind?
Yeah, it's one of the ones that are 120 by 120.
Okay, let's just start. So this is the 5-inch blocks. The original is a 65-inch square, and you can make it 8 inches, so it's more of a twin size quilt. You can make it 80 by 80, which is a full to queen size quilt. That's a different option for the 65 by 80 twin, and another different option. 70 by 85 makes it a bit bigger. 85 by 85 full to queen. And then we get to the 7.5-inch block. So that starts out as a good size queen quilt at 97.5 inches square. So this border here is the month 6 border. Everything inside that is months 1 through 5, and everything outside it is months 7 through 12. And month 6 is creating this border here, excuse me, which sits on top of the join of these two pieces, which makes it possible to quilt this queen size quilt in your hoop. Okay, so 112 inches, 112 and a half adds adds a bunch more. So these 2 rows here, and 120 has a couple of rows of
That's the
month
one
8.
I made.
That's the one. Okay, that's the one you made, and then that one has the month 1 blocks in there.
That's the one I'm thinking about making. I'd really
Okay.
like to be able to see the quilting that's in those lighter areas. With the other one that I made, the quilting's gorgeous in it. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just with the colored fabric sometimes, and I was using a batik print, and so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the stitching kind of gets lost in that. And
Right.
so I really kind of wanted to see that here and go with, I'm going to go with batiks again. I just love batiks. What can I say? But I'm going to use more solid batiks than anything with a print on it.
Okay. One of the things that I think I know I have a tendency to do whenever I'm quilting, even if I'm quilting in the hoop, where you can pretty much guarantee that it's going to look good, I still have this. I don't know if it's the fear from free motion quilting when you think, oh, I got to hide all of my potential tension mishaps, and I got to hide my stitch length mishaps. So you choose a thread that kind of blends in with the background and you can't see any of the quilting. And this quilt is kind of like that, although on the green, not on the green, on the gray quilting, we actually have it's a very pale aqua colored thread. So if you look at it up close, you can see the quilting, but from a distance you can't. But I think one of the things that all of us could do is be a lot bolder in our choice of thread color for the quilting. So
I agree.
use
Yeah,
a thread color that is a much higher contrast so that you can see the quilting.
it's kind of
Because
scary when you're on a real light color, but I
I
agree.
know.
I've kind of been experimenting with that a little bit, and I really do like it, especially if what you're working on has a beautiful design. Why not bring it out a little bit more?
Absolutely. So fabric wise for this then, okay, so this row here is month 7. This row of circles is month 8. This is a bunch of blocks based off month 1. So month 1 is the 4 blocks here in the center. Then you're doing another month 8, and this outside part is month 9. So let's do some counting. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 blocks on each of 4 sides. So that's 48 blocks that you need a background for,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I think it sounds right.
Now, you're doing my digitizing and design masterclass, so I know you have CorelDRAW,
Yes, I do.
and I am pulling it up right here. Well, this is the graphics suite version of it. Now, what I do is create a page that is 42 inches wide. So most fabric that you buy is going to be 44 to 45 inches wide.
Okay.
I go with 42 inches because that guarantees that whatever I'm planning, I can fit. And then either 36 inches representing a yard or 72 inches representing 2 yards. And I'm going to go with 72 inches because I kind of get the feeling that we'll need it. Now then, do you remember? So 7.5 inch blocks. Are we cutting them at 8.5 inches or 9 inches? Do you remember?
No, I don't. Um, Initially,
Marilyn, do
I
you
thought they
remember?
were cut at,
8.5.
Eight and a
is it
half.
8.5?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn.
As I said, Marilyn spent a lot of time with Simply Dreaming in the last week to make sure that all of our updates were good ones.
Well, if I
So,
have an
okay.
issue, I'll get a hold of Marilyn.
She did actually spot one. Thankfully, there were a couple of different, little teeny tiny minor things. There was one that I would call a major thing when one of the SVG files somehow managed to get skewed. Anyway, okay, so 8.5 inches. I am going to multiply this 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you see that fifth one, by the time we've got 5 8.5 inch blocks, that's 42.5 inches. So I'm good with that because I
Okay.
know I can cut that out of with the fabric, right?
Yeah,
So that's 5. So now we want to go 8.5 up, and we want a total of, what did I say, 48?
I think so.
So that's
Yeah,
5,
yeah.
10,
Yes.
15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So that's actually going to give you 1 extra. So 3 yards would be 108 inches. So let's put this down at the bottom of the 3-yard stretch. Okay, so that is I would say you want at least 2.5 yards of your cream background,
Okay,
if not 3. Because
I'll probably go with 3. I like to have a little wiggle room.
yeah, 85 inches. So 36 times 2.5 is 90. So that's not a lot of wiggle room at all. So I say three yards of background for those guys. So then this extra month 8 row, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times 4. Marilyn, I need the accountant brain here. 13 times 4 is 52. Plus 4
Let me
corners.
get my calculator. 13 times 4 is 52.
You know, we should all know that off the top of our head. Wouldn't you think there's 52 weeks in a year and the quarter is
Yeah.
13 weeks in? Anyway, okay. So, and these guys finish at 7.5 times 3 3/4. So 8.5 times like 4.5, probably. So
4.25.
8.5 by 4.25.
I think so.
I'm gonna go with 4.5 just to be. You would think 4 and just
4.5
because.
is good. I'm just, like I said, I like a little wiggle room in case the ruler slips or something, you know.
Yeah. So we need 52 of these guys. Actually, let's just take those off there and we'll create a new page. And for anybody who's wondering, this is exactly what I do when I create fabric requirements. I literally take every single piece out of the quilt and I add seam allowances to it and I lay it out on in CorelDRAW exactly like this. Okay,
So you need
5,
11 of
10,
those.
15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So that's 49.5 inches. So again, 1.5 is going to be enough, but potentially tight. 2 is going to be plenty.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now then, for this outside stuff, the border, I don't know if you can see that the green swirly part is actually part of the month 9 block. I'm going to go back to the original. So on the original, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hold on a minute. So each of these swirly parts from there to there is 3 blocks. So that's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12, 48. We've already got 48 of these blocks accounted for, right?
Right.
So this guy, we've got 1, 2, 3. We're essentially adding 3 more blocks per side. So we're adding 12 more blocks.
Okay.
Right? So
Yeah.
for the blue, even if you were to go with,
That's the one I came up short with when I did my king size quilt was that.
okay, so even if you were to go with the full 8.5 inch blocks, um 25.5 inches is good. So like let's say 3/4 of a yard of that will be absolutely plenty. If you wanted to go up to a full yard, then you'll be good. There's the green, which if you get 2 yards of the green, there should be plenty of extra green. And then that leaves you with the cream, which are actually cut out as applique shapes. And so this was the cream. And if you're getting 3 yards of this, you should have plenty to do the extra applique shapes of this too.
Okay.
Mhm.
So 3 yards of the cream, 2 yards of the green, and let's say 1 yard extra of the blue. And then these little appliques here, I think you should have plenty of that fabric in the original
Now,
requirement.
those are the exact same size. I don't
As-
have everything in front of me, Sarah, but those circles are the exact same size as the inner piece there.
These are month 8 blocks. These are month 8 blocks.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the ones for month,
So you might want to
6
double
or
up on
smaller.
those 2 colors.
Pardon me?
You might want to double up on those 2 colors. So this color here, this is the month 8 is the only time that is used, I think. The darker color is also used in month 4, a little bit in month 7, and teeny tiny bit in month 1, and I guess a teeny tiny bit here too. So you might want to double up on those 2 colors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
you are welcome. I am excited to see this one.
I'll get back to you in a year.
Okay.